go. We got the first one of the day. All right, guys. It is Tuesday. Man, does the weather feel freaking good compared to like 2 days ago. A little bit more windy. It's about 74, 76 degrees outside. Honestly, I didn't even need to wear a long sleeve shirt, but yeah, so just getting off work, just wrapping up for the day. I got to run out to the dealership and turn in some title work for the old bike that we traded in. So I did a moto vlog a couple days ago, but I didn't really care for the audio, so I kind of am ramping and kind of put a little bit more padding in here to kind of try to dampen the wind noise a little bit, because man, it wasn't terrible. The mic quality seemed to be pretty good. I'm using the purple Panda mic, and using the GoPro Hero 8 Black with the medium mod. So testing out today, see if it's any better. So heading off right now. I'm gonna take the real kind of, we got storms coming in tonight. Actually, they just upgraded, so they upgraded us to a 5% tornado risk. So some of you guys kind of checking out new to the channel, so a couple things that I do. Primarily the main focus is going to be around motorcycles, but you know, I stream on Twitch, and so some of the things that I did on Twitch was, you know, I did sometimes a little bit of gaming stream. Primarily it was IRL streaming, so we would do storm chasing, drone flights, live moto streams. I have a streaming backpack that I'll actually live stream from time to time and do a live moto stream, but primarily I'm going to try to do mostly moto vlogs on YouTube. So kind of give a background of, you know, this first video. So I had the last video that you guys seen. If you guys haven't checked it, it's back there. That was on my 2005 Yamaha R1, which I at the time now have sold. And so kind of going back down memory lane here. So I've always primarily been on sport bikes. In 2018, I got into a pretty bad car crash, got on stream, put me in physical therapy for like 2 years, and it was real hard to be back on a sport bike. So I had my FZ1, you know, and I love that thing, and then I ended up picking up an R1, and that was the one in the last video, but that one really was just taking a toll on my back. So so I had the R1, and then I actually took it down. I actually picked up an R6 for pretty dirt cheap, but had some transmission issues, so ended up selling it. I put it on there for like $1,000. The guy was like, yeah, I'll fix it. He's like, I know how to fix them, and I was like, okay. So it was a real clean bike. It was super clean. It just had a little bit of like a second gear issue, and so I ended up selling that, and I was like, well, maybe I'll just have to take the street legal dune buggy and just ride that around, because I was really kind of, not gonna lie, I was kind of down that I didn't get to go ride anymore because of, you know, everything else. So I ended up going out to the Harley dealership over in Kansas, and I picked up, and I shouldn't have, but I think I was so eager to go ride that I bought a 2021 Iron 883. I always liked the look of the 883s. I just thought that they looked like a real good bike, but I realized real quick, me being 6'2" and, you know, 240 pounds, that was not going to last very long. So I had it for about 7 months, and I had to take it in to get some warranty work last week. And while I was out there, I started kind of looking around. My buddy has a 2019 Fat Bob. I started looking around. They had a 2022 Fat Bob on the floor. So I talked to the sales guy, and we kind of sat there and talked for a little bit. And I was like, yeah, probably won't get approved on it, because it was like, you know, $22,000 bike, or 20,000. I don't remember what it was. Like, I think it's around that price point. And so he came back, and he was like, because I think my buddy paid like 17 for his 2019. And so I was like, okay. And so he came back and he was like, well, we got you approved and got you a really good interest rate. And I was like, a lot better than my 883 did. And I don't know, maybe it's because I made, you know, several payments on time, but they gave me a better refinance option. So I traded it in. So now we have the 2022 Fat Bob, and I am in love. This thing like brought back kind of the fun of riding again. Not gonna lie. You know, I've been on sport bikes, I said, my whole entire life. I never really thought that I'd be on a Harley. Not saying there's nothing wrong with them. I'm kind of picky about what Harleys I like. You know, I mean, I get like the road glides and electric glides. Those are like your long distance touring and things like that. But for me, I still kind of like that kind of like aggressive, clean cafe kind of look on cruisers. But primarily, I like the sport bikes. Well, my buddy got the Fat Bob, and I was, man, that's a good looking bike. And so, so I ended up getting this one. And yeah, I mean, I'm in love. The seat, so much better for my lower back. So much better for my lower back, and so much for my lower back. Yeah, oh my God, I keep repeating this three times. It's super comfortable. It's got a hell of a lot more power than my 883 did. I mean, I honestly wouldn't be surprised. I've seen guys wheelie in these things. I can see why. These things got a lot of freaking torque. And so, kind of give you guys a little bit of review. So I'm at 87 miles right now. So I've kind of had to been babying it the last few rides, just because, you know, it's going through its break-in period. I did get a 3-year warranty on it, and they also installed, I haven't gotten installed yet because the parts are ordered, but they also included the Screaming Eagle tuner and the Diablo slip-ons. I tried to go for full, but I didn't really like any of the fulls, so I ended up going with the slip-ons. Well, I take that back. I like the Vance & Hines. They just didn't have any in stock, and I was like, you know what, slip-ons is fine. I was like, I'll just do slip-ons. I was like, it's still gonna be better than stock. And so, and I know you don't really need a tuner for them, but I told them that I would probably upgrade to like a 2-in-1. So at that point, I might as well just negotiate the deal. Give me a tuner with it as well. So just to give kind of my 85 mile review, man, this thing is like, so the 883, like I said, I love the look of the bike. I like kind of how it's at a little lower, but man, that suspension is rough. I just, you would think for a 2021 that it'd be pretty comfortable, but no. You hit any sort of bump and you feel it. It feels like the forks are always bottoming out, and then the wheels, you know, they're just really skinny tires. So compared to this one, this thing drives almost like a Cadillac. It almost feels like I don't feel hardly any of the bumps. It's got the inverted forks, which I love, because you know you see that a lot on sport bikes, and it's a better design for sure. It's much easier also to change out fork seals, and so yeah, no, this thing is just, man, the power, the ride, the feel. I love the look. I know the Fat Bob gets some hate from some people, you know, the guys who are, you know, like the Dynas and stuff like that, but man, it's just such a good looking bike. I mean, I'm in love with this thing. So, you know, after the car wreck, and this is kind of going why I kind of like really just excited about riding this bike now is, you know, I was on sport bikes my whole entire life almost, and I'm not gonna lie, it started to kind of get not fun riding anymore. And it's not so much that, like, I mean, I love to go out and wheelie. And I can't breathe right now because the visor's closed. So riding with people, you know, don't get me wrong, we still did some group rides from time to time, but for the most part, it was just a matter of, you know, hey, let's go down to Hooters, let's go down to Twin Peaks, and we just bust ass on the highway all the way down, and we would just sit there and bust ass the whole entire way, and then we'd get there and then we'd be done for the night. Like, that was it. We'd go ride for 20 minutes, haul ass all the way there, and then sit there for the rest of the night eating and not get really much seat time. And like, you know, I used to be able, and I know a lot of sport bike guys, they'll always say, you know, I mean, any motorcycle rider will tell you this, is that when you ride a motorcycle, you kind of don't know where you're going a lot of the times, because you'll say, oh, I'm just going to go run to the store. You'll say, I'm going to go run to the store, and you take the most ass backwards way to get there, and next thing you know, you're 100 miles away because you took the world's biggest loop around, and I know that's something that I do. But honestly, like, maybe it was the pain in my back from the car accident, but it basically started to kind of feel like I wasn't going out and doing that anymore. Like, I wasn't going out and really riding anymore. I would just take my car to places. I wouldn't take the bike. And I don't know, like, I just started to kind of feel like I was losing a little bit of that passion. Well, you know, getting the Harley, getting this, I definitely am feeling that more. It's comfortable. It's got great feel to it. I mean, it's the legs feel great. I am going to get some highway, and some highway footrest, and but it's just really like, it just has that kind of like aggressive feel a little bit of just wanting to get out and go ride again. Like, it just makes me excited to go ride. I don't know how to describe it. It's a, like, I'm enjoying the scenery. I'm enjoying getting out. Yeah, am I not hauling ass or doing doing wheelies really anymore? No, and I'll get another sport bike. I will get another sport bike at some point. And it's just we'll have to see how that kind of plays out. But with my back, I don't know. I mean, I could probably go to something like I'll probably go to like another FZ01 if I go to another sport bike, or I'm sorry, FZ1. I like the FZ09s. I like the look of the FZ9s, but I actually prefer like the 07 and unders because they use the true R1 motor. Now they're doing like some sort of weird motor side on there. It still has that throaty. I mean, the FZ09s with like an M4 exhaust, they sound really, really, really good. They sound super, super good, but it's just kind of one of those things where, compared to like the true R1 motor, they're not straight inline 4. It's a night and day difference as far as sound goes. But yeah, so kind of going back, so giving more review. I love the handlebars. I love the feel of the handlebars. It's kind of got that drag bar effect. Love the tires. Love the suspension. Being able to quickly adjust the suspension. So it's got a knob on the side. So if you go 2 up, you just crank it in to stiffen up the rear suspension for a passenger. And I mean, I'm probably gonna have to get a better seat for sure. This seat's not exactly the greatest for probably for a passenger, but I will say the front seat is super comfortable. The 883, that seat sucked, the stock seat, so I upgraded that seat to a Saddleman Explorer seat. Now this one's reversed. This front seat is super, super comfortable, but the back seat's tiny. Even though it feels soft, it's tiny. Like, it's nobody's gonna want to go on a long ride in that. And I get it. It's not meant. It's not like it's not like it's gonna have the full seat in the back like some of the bigger Harleys. So I'm looking at a couple seats. I think I'm probably gonna go with like the Mustang Solo and run that seat. And so that was kind of that. I also got a new helmet, so I'm running the Scorpion AT 950. It's kind of like a dual sport hybrid. It's a dual sport modular helmet. I was looking at some of the Rurocks, but man, the only one that I really liked was the Berserker, but I heard that the field of view is incredibly, like, it's a lot constricted. You can't see out your peripherals. This thing has a huge field of vision view. I mean, the visor is just huge. And I'm running it with the mirrored visor, and I'm running the breakout one. But and honestly, I'm surprised. Some people said it was a little bit of a windy helmet. I don't think it's that windy. Honestly, I don't think it's that bad. I've had way more windy helmets than this one. And being the fact that it's a modular, I'm not surprised. Honestly, I feel like most of the wind that I am hearing is coming from the actual visor up top, and not, I think it's funneling through there, so it's creating. I think I'm gonna probably end up taking it off, but I really kind of like the dual sport look of it. But yeah, so that's, pretty much we're gonna run on that one. And then I got the GoPro Hero 8 and the purple Panda Mic. So yeah, tonight I'm getting my riding in right now because, so like I said, storm chasing that you guys will probably see from time to time, or at least see like, highlight reels of storm chasing. Tonight is going to be an interesting night. Hopefully, this year has already kind of started off to a very deadly here with tornadoes. Last year we had kind of a slower year, but this year almost all the tornadoes have been huge. So for you guys that don't know, a lot of times, most of your tornadoes kind of happen in that 2% range. So they put it, the SPC, which is the Storm Prediction Center, they released this, basically a prediction of what they're predicting as far as where tornadoes or severe weather is going to be. So a lot of times you'll see tornadoes happen in 2%. A lot of your tornadoes you see happen in a 2%. But then you have like 5%, 10%, 15%, 30%, 45%. I don't know if I've ever seen a 60 before. I think there might have been one, but so basically it's just saying in that area, that's where you're going to be more likely. So 5% is a pretty good chase day. Most chasers will go chase the 5%. So most of the time though, in storms, the risk of tornadoes usually declines as you enter into overnight hours. Well, this storm that is coming, because this morning it was cool and now it's warming up, the increase of tornadoes is actually rising for tonight, which is not a great thing, because chasing at night, which I won't be chasing at night because I think it's pretty much stupid, is so I say chasing, I'm more of storm spotting. So with weather, especially living in the Midwest, a lot of times before tornado sirens can get issued, they used to either have to be radar indicated, or you have a storm spotter or chaser or law enforcement who reports it and submits a report to the National Weather Service. The National Weather Service at that point issues a tornado warning, which gets the local departments to start kicking on their tornado sirens. You need spotters out there, because if you didn't, you cannot see a lot of times tornadoes on radar. Now a big tornado you can see, but smaller tornadoes, it's sometimes harder. So I do more of the storm spotting, so I'll be reporting from home tonight. I might get out and maybe just stay near the house, but I'm not going to go out and try to blindly chase because you can't see shit. So, the increase right now, so the temperature is just rising like crazy right now. So this morning was only like 30 something, and now it's like 78. So these storms are supposed to start firing up around 9 o'clock tonight. But like I said, the nerve-wracking thing a little bit is that, all the tornadoes this year have been big tornadoes, not small ones. Very deadly year so far. And so it kind of makes it a little bit more nervous, especially when you got storms that are coming in at the night. And so for Missouri, a lot of times the storms initiate way out western Kansas. So by the time that they get to Missouri, they usually don't, the tornado risk goes down. Well, these are forming just to the west of Kansas City. And last time we had some that formed to the west of Kansas City, it was the big EF4 a few years ago at the Linwood tornado, and that thing was on the ground for almost an hour. So it's going to be an interesting night. So if this is my last night with you guys, then I said, hopefully everybody stays safe. Make sure you guys are checking your weather alerts, especially if you're in the Kansas City area. And and we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll get some highlight footage of the storm and upload it on my next vlog. So I am actually getting ready to pull up here in just a second to the Harley dealership. I have to drop off the title for the old bike, and then I will do some more riding, and I will be back in just a little bit, and we'll continue and talk about this bike some more and kind of future things that are coming up and go from there. So I will be back in just a little bit, guys. We'll see you in just a bit. Alright guys, I am back. So, dropped off the paperwork, and now going to go and try to get myself some dinner before the storms come. So yeah, so kind of going back and talking about the bike a little bit more. So yeah, compared to the 883, if you're, it's definitely a great upgrade. If you guys are considering, or if you guys have an 883, I highly recommend upgrading or selling and going up there. Don't get me wrong, like I said, I love the look of the 883. I think it's a gorgeous bike. If you don't feel like you need any more power, by all means, 883 is still a great bike, and it's been proven reliable for a long time. For me, like I said, I made the mistake. I was like, you know what, I got it, I wanted to ride. I should have shopped around a little bit more, but you know what, it ended up working out in the best. I got a much better interest rate on this one as well, and I'm incredibly happy. I think I'm going to have this thing probably for a very, very long time. If anything, I'll just trade it in for maybe something, down, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, maybe once I pay it off. Trade it in for, maybe something different. Maybe I trade it in for another sport bike. Maybe when my back is healed, I go back to a sport bike. But I think I'm going to probably have both. I think I'm going to probably maybe even hold on to this thing, or get another bike similar to this one and have this as like my weekend, just go out and just relax and cruise, do a long distance trip, and then I'll have my sport bike for when I have my fun. Or I'll go to supermoto. I'm honestly probably thinking more supermoto. We've talked with a couple buddies, and we're talking about doing the Trans-America Trail, and probably run something like if I go supermoto, it'll be DSD 400, but if I go for like Trans-America Trail, I'm not doing that on a DRZ. The seat's too uncomfortable. I'll probably go to like a DR 650, or I will go to a KLR 650. I'm probably going to go DR 650 because those things are pretty much bulletproof. So are KLRs, don't get me wrong. KLRs are freaking bulletproof too. It ain't uncommon to see those things with you know, I've seen people with over 100,000 miles on them. So ooh, there goes a Grom right there. Oh man, what's this? Wasn't sure if that light was going to turn green or not. It like acted like it was going to and then didn't. So yeah, I got this is the 2022 Fat Bob. It's got the 114 in it, and I'm glad I went with the 114. And you know, let's say they love this motor, that's for sure. A lot of people I know has the 114, and like I said, my buddy's the one who got me kind of interested in the Fat Bob. I had never really even paid attention to the Fat Bob, and so you know, when I got the Fat Bob, you know, and I saw his, I was like, man, that thing is just freaking dope. Like, I love the look of it, and it had a super, I'm not gonna lie, he's kind of like, man, why'd you have to copy me and get the same bike? And I'm like, well, it's your fault. Go trade yours at Dow and go get a different bike. So we'll see what he does there. But now I get to make fun of him a little bit, because it's a little bit, it's a little fun to do it, because he man, that's one thing, all this foam inside the mouth, it makes it a little bit more difficult to breathe, I'll tell you that much, especially when you're sitting still. So no, he gave me a lot of shit, and he was like, you know, he gave me a bunch of crap because he was like, oh, you need to get a bigger bike, your bike's slow, and your bike's crap compared to my Fat Bob. Now I get to make fun of him and say, yeah, well, your bike's older than mine, so I got the nicer bike now. No, it's all fun and games, stuff like that. But no, it was definitely a great recommendation. I was actually at the dealership just now, and he goes, well, if you ever decide you want to trade it in or something else, or go to something bigger or something other, and I was like, you know, it's funny, because I started kind of thinking about it, and I was like, you know, my daughter loves to ride, and I was like, you know, I should have, if I would have known I was going to get approved, I should have shopped around a little bit, because, you know, maybe I would have gotten something like a Road King, so that way me and my daughter could like take like a big long distance trip, like out to Colorado or something. I would still, honestly, if it was just me, I take that back. There's a guy on YouTube who he converted his Fat Bob. He didn't really convert it. He made like a quick detach where it converts from basically the regular Fat Bob into like a more of a like touring Fat Bob. And he got basically detachable, like quick detachable leather, and like I forget the material is, more of like a soft bag, quick detachable bags. He got a windscreen, and then he got a rear center bag, and he's taking it on like a 3,000 mile trip or something like that. And honestly, it looked pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, for being that it was a Fat Bob, it actually really kind of still kept its Fat Bob look, but it looked just like if you were something you could take on a sport tour. But you know, you see these bikes up there, and I'm looking at them, and I'm like, holy crap, man! Like, these things got like full-blown, like not reclining seats, but they got like full-blown seats with backrests, you know, on the back, you know, speakers, radio, GPS, and I'm like, man, even though those bikes are, you know, those bikes are $40,000 or $35,000. Well, actually, take that back. I saw one. They had a couple of them. They had a couple of used ones that were actually cheaper than this bike. They actually had one that was like 18, but yeah, mind you, it was like 8 years old. It had only like 12,000 miles on it. It really didn't have a lot of miles on it. But the one thing I've noticed, especially in motorcycles, is that banks are a little bit more picky about lending, and so they would prefer to give you a better interest rate or actually approve you on a brand new bike than on a used bike. I don't know what it is about banks, because there's a lot of dealerships that got used bikes, but maybe they're just expecting that someone's going to go to their own bank and get their own, you know, get their own loan to cover it from there. But it's like, I asked the guy, because I told him, I was like, hey, I know you had a 2015, I think, no, I'm sorry, he had a 2017 or 2018, I think it was a 2018 Fat Bob up there that was like, I want to say it was like 16,000. So I'd asked him about doing that one too, and he said that the bank didn't want to do the loan on that bike. And I get it, they, you know, maybe, and I asked him a couple times, and he was pretty, honestly, he didn't pressure me at all. He was a great salesman. He didn't put any pressure on me as far as buying a bike or anything like that. He just basically just said it flat out. He's like, look, the banks, they would rather do the loan and give you the loan for the length that you want and the payment that you want. They have more flexibility to do it on a brand new bike than they do on the used. And I'm guessing it's probably because, you know, if I was to lose my job or something, that if they had for some reason had to like repo the bike or some shit, which, you know, hopefully never happens. So hopefully I don't get to that point. You know, they'll be able to make their money back a little bit more than all versus a used bike. But granted, though, it's hard to say that because used bikes are almost going more for new bikes these days. So I don't know if I buy it, but I get that at the same time, though, too, the bank probably it has a better chance of getting you in a long-term low interest rate on a brand new vehicle than on a used vehicle, just because the used vehicles they continue to depreciate in value as the mileage goes up. So we'll kind of see, and we'll just see how that happens. But like I said, I'm in love with this bike. I highly recommend it. So far I haven't really gotten into it, so hopefully by the next vlog I will be over the break-in period. I think he told me from 50 miles, under 50 miles, keep it below like 50 miles an hour. He said once I get 50 to 100 miles, I could go up to like 65-ish. He says once I get over like 100 to like 120, 150, go a little bit faster, but don't get fall into it. He says once you're over 150 miles, then you can really start to kind of open it up a little bit more. But honestly, what I've always done with any brand new bike is I don't really ride the piss out of it. I kind of wait until I get close to like my 1,000-mile service, which most of the time I'll just do myself, just to get all the metal shavings and things like that over there. But even on days like today, though, like when I'm like kind of in a weird mood, like I'm not in a bad mood, I'm actually in a really good mood, but I also am kind of feeling kind of like I would love to get on a sport bike right now and just go find an open road and start hauling ass or doing some wheelies. But at the same time, though, like I'm in love with this bike so far. I think I'm gonna be a lot more in love with it once I get the tuner, once I get the Diablo exhaust, and I can start opening this thing up and start to. Now, granted, it still will never give you that satisfaction. I say give that satisfaction. It gives me plenty because it's got a lot of low-end torque. But when you come from a sport bike scene, there's just something about being on a sport bike. When you open them up, it just puts the world's biggest grin on your face, and that's nothing further than the truth, because it's one of those things where it's just what it does. So yeah, guys, so I'm gonna keep doing more reviews on this bike for a little bit. Like I said, this is just kind of more of a quick overview of the 2022 Fat Bob. I'm going to do a before and after on the exhaust, and then we'll get there after we get over the 100-mile warranty and start opening up and give a little bit more in-depth review, and let me do some more research on it. So until next time, guys, have a great day, and we will see you guys next time. See ya.